Well, hello world, JD here. Get a lot of messages from people asking questions. We know this. Hey, why don't you post a video of your actual work? You know, well, cool. Um, some of you going to think I'm crazy to go to the lengths that I do with some of this stuff and really not get that much more money out of it. Well, number one, you know what's different from back in the 70s and 80s and 90s? I'm not doing this for a living. Um, this is kind of my later in life enjoyment. And yeah, there's some money to it. Helps put fuel in the motorhome, you know. But, I was working on this gray 150 and I'm like, this would be a good one to, I forget what the gentleman's name was, take his suggestion and show you, some of the day-to-day stuff. It's about it's actually January 2nd by now, I'm sure. God, I don't know what time it is. I'm sure it's after midnight on New Year's Day. But anyway, got a hold of this 150 and this estate lot that I bought from this widow. Sideband delay did not work. You know what? This ant's probably going to go to somebody and they're going to slap it in a hunting truck. And they don't even know never owned a sideband radio. But hey, I'm going to make sure that if that guy sells it to somebody and he sells it to a sidebander, it's going to work. You can see the new blue capacitor there that got replaced. And it replaced these two capacitors in parallel. How simple this is back when these things were being built. Why did they use two 33 microfarad 25 volts instead of 166 microfarad or maybe 100 microfarad for the sideband delay? It's as simple as this company right here probably had a special and they were selling these things for, wow, I think it's storming outside, guys. Anyway, maybe they were selling them for a half a cent a piece. And, Gray bought a pallet load. It's that, hey, this kind of stuff happens. I mean, it just did. We were privy to a lot of that stuff back in the day. Now, capacitors have a shelf life. You see the difference between the bottom one and the top one? When you see that, I didn't even have to put the capacitance checker on it. Wasn't no need wasting time. That needed replacing. When the electrolyte leaks out, it turns a chalky white. Chalky white. So those are junk. And these traces, Gray, they did. I brag on why they build a great amp. But see, these traces was actually copper traces with solder on top. Now see this mess? Somebody's been in here, the receive preamp did not work on it. Somebody's been in here trying to fix it. And hey, I admire people trying to do stuff. That's the way people learn. But you know what? They get it backwards. They start tearing into this stuff. They don't know a transistor from a capacitor from a resistor. Get your education first, dude. I went to electronics school for 3 years in 79, 80, and 81. Now, I've been messing with this stuff since 76, but I already sort of had some help with that, a background, mentor. But anyway, see, this is what I was talking about in the last video about experience. There's no schematics to be found with these things. So they got in here and they couldn't figure it out, so they just put it back together and sent it on about its way. Now, there's supposed to be a connection between here and here. But since this right here was blown out, they might have hooked their radio up backwards to the connections, and it disintegrated this trace from here to here. You know, they didn't know that, so they just thought this is what it was, right? No. And it also blew the transistor. We're going to take care of that and everything. So, you know, we're going to kind of, we're going to solve while we got this disconnected, because it solders. You have to unsolder this lead from the connector, and then you got a wire coming through this hole to the antenna. While we got this thing loose, we're going to solder this board up. It's going to be all fresh and tight and ready to go. So we're going to call this part 1 of the Gray 150 redo. See you on part 2. Have a good one.